Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Where are we? That's what you're wondering. Well, from the norm, we're not actually driving in and around Paphos. We're not even heading out towards Coral Bay. We're going in totally the opposite direction. We is heading from Mandrea and we're heading out towards Pissouri. So there we go. If you've ever wondered where Pissouri is, it's about, I think it's 25 kilometres, which is approximately, to keep it very simple, 20 miles away from Paphos. Very, very popular place. A lot of people go and holiday there, and a lot of people that I've met over the years, even when they holiday in Paphos, often go and spend the day in Pissouri. And there is the area known as Pissouri Jetty, which is down by Pissouri Beach. One or two nice restaurants, there's water sports, spectacular view, and it's a bit of a cove, so there's like a high cliff face to one side. So it is a very, very dramatic view, and on a perfect day, probably it's one of the best beaches, certainly in Cyprus and possibly in the world. Although I'm probably exaggerating, but there we go. It's a very, very nice place indeed. Now, forgive this road surface. Even an S-Class Mercedes, to be honest, can't smooth out all the, well, imperfections, shall we call them. It doesn't look that bad a road, but the tarmac is a bit rough and, well, it's not as polished as it actually looks. And now, when again, you come across a filled pothole or, well, what can I say? It's a bit Sherlock Holmes, shall we say. Anyway, look at that for a blue Mediterranean Sea. There's been a bit of debate over the last week that the Paphos weather has been a little bit Sherlock Holmes, which in plain simple English is S-H-I-T, if you're curious and you're new to the channel. That's a phrase that goes back a long, long time to when Misocci received the booth. That's Marika was confusing her English and she almost swore, and she chose the words Sherlock Holmes, so it stuck, and we quite like it, and many of the family members find it funny when we say it. And when something gets worse than Sherlock Holmes, it gets to William Shakespeare. When it goes really, really bad, we refer to it as Chichurian English, which, well, there you go, without trying to insult him. His name was William, I know that, and he probably was a very, very clever and a very, very educated man, but unfortunately that English is not the same English as we speak today. Now, I'm curious to know, why is a blue bus trying to stick itself up my bottom? I mean, normally a man in a bus doesn't want to go speeding. I am doing 67 kilometres an hour along this road, and the speed limit is 50. But there we go. This is Cyprus. He obviously is in a big rush, and perhaps there's a pork kebab with his name on it. Anyway, or perhaps he wants to get a good view of my rear end. You never know. That's the rant over. This is a spectacular road. This is the old road from, we're going to call it Secret Valley. It's now changed its name to Aphrodite's Rock. So that's a resort of luxury golf villas, and it's a golf course. A bit further yonder down the road here, we're going to come past the area known as Aphrodite's Hills. If you think Secret Valley, prices are quite high for a property. Golf villa, you know, cheap end, $500,000 up to $1.5 million. Well, if you think that's quite expensive, and you probably don't, by the way, but if you do, well, we're going to go to just down here, which is Aphrodite's Hills. To be honest, a one-bedroom apartment is €500,000. And a two-bedroom is a bit more, obviously. A townhouse is a bit more. And if you want a villa, well, you're going to need $1 million. And if you want one of the nice villas, you're going to need $5 million. And in many cases, you're going to need a lot more. So there's a lot of rich people up there to the left. And also there's a big luxury 5-star hotel, and that's called Aphrodite's Hills. And it's a great hotel with a spectacular view out across this beautiful thing known as the blue Mediterranean Sea. And I'm sure you can see it's a beautiful shade of turquoisey blue, as Marika would say. And down there, you've watched us once or twice, if you've watched the channel regularly, monkey around on the beach front, shall we say. And there are some hidden parts with sand. Mainly it's shale, but it is a very, very spectacular view indeed. And there's lots of little tracks that take you down to this, should we say, beach front, because that's what it's actually called, isn't it? Or the coastline, the water's edge. And often you'll find yourself on your own, because it's a vast expanse. So if you want to go and do some private sunbathing and have a little party with your friends, probably this part of Paphos could be that special place for you. Now, a bit further coming up now is going to be Aphrodite's Rock. Now, the last time we went to there, well, we like to climb it, if you understand me, and dibble and dabble and perhaps fall off it once or twice. And we like to scare the living daylights out of the girl in charge of most things on Marika and me. And of course, her name is one and only Dame Anne. Welcome to the sofa, Dame. You're sitting there, and I know sitting next to you is one of our great friends and your great friend, and of course her name is, well, hold on, she's the greatest lawyer in downtown Poland. She's coming to Paphos very soon. She's bringing her husband and she's bringing her son, and the son can't be a bad lad because his favourite brand of car is Mercedes. So if your name is Anna Starr, welcome to the sofa. And I'm pretty sure, Anna, you're doing very well as a lawyer because you're the greatest lawyer in downtown Poland. So I'm pretty sure, wow, look at that, you're going to treat your son to a Mercedes. That is Aphrodite's Rocks, and as you can see, there's one or two people standing on the top. I think a lot of them seem to know each other, by the way. They all seem to be high-fiving each other and that sort of stuff. So it's probably a group of friends. There was something going on in Paphos earlier, wasn't there, Joe? My brother's sitting next to me, by the way, very quiet, well behaved.
I think it's maybe students or something.
It's Easter, isn't it? So perhaps the colleges are closed for Easter, because Cyprus Easter becomes before British Easter. Now, you'll always hear me refer to British. Don't take that as an insult if you live in Israel. Don't take that as an insult if you live in Poland. And don't take that as an insult if you live in America. I understand there are viewers, and we do, and Russians. Miss Hope, good morning to you. I was going to say Dobra Ultra. Yes, that's the correct words. In Russian, Dobra Ultra. In Polish, Anna Starr, you're waiting for it, aren't you? You're sitting on the edge of your seat and you're thinking, is he going to pronounce it correctly? Well, probably not. I'm going to say Dizlin Debra. There we go. And I know it's completely wrong, but if your name is Grigor and your name is Simon Payne and you've got a brother called Jeremy Payne, very, very good morning to you guys. You understand the joke in there, because Simon said, when I try to pronounce it correctly, who is Drizzling Deborah? And she sounds very nice, and I'd like to have her as a girlfriend. So there we go. Look at this road. This is the new road. We featured it before, and there's a Gumpawi there checking out something. I don't know what he was doing. Why was he driving on my side of the road?
He used to driving on the left.
Yeah, there we go. This is another problem, by the way.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The first time a head-on crash with an oncoming car live.
Yeah, but luckily we were in S-Class, one of the safest classes, safest cars in the world. So they're doing something. This is a brand new road, and obviously something is wrong. So it looks to me as though they are drilling some new piles, doesn't it, over there? So that means this new road is already starting to subside on that point. I've no doubt if there we go. No, they're putting in some railings. Okay, we'll let them off. But if my father was here, I've said it before, and he was an exceptional engineer. He was a consultant engineer, and he was a member of this and a member of that. He was a very, very good engineer. I remember driving around with him when I was a young boy, and he would often stop somewhere when we were abroad or in the UK and look at things and go, oh my God, who authorised this? And then a couple of years later, guess what? It had fallen down or subsided. But we all understand it's a compromise, isn't it, with most of these projects between cost and time. Whereas he worked for the World Bank, where the thing called cost didn't matter, and time again didn't matter. So if you needed 4 pieces of steel, he would instruct 10. If you needed 4 bricks, he would instruct 10. I think he should have built Rolls Royces, by the way. Perhaps that's what he should have done. Anyway.
Our grandfather did.
He did, yes. Our grandfather actually was a Rolls Royce trained engineer. Anyway, that's another story. Hopefully you enjoyed that spectacular drive. This now is the ascent going uphill, and then the descent as we drop down into Pissouri village. Quite a big village, as I've said, and then we're going to wiggle and waggle up to the right to the top, and we're going to hunt down a lady in distress who has come to Cyprus, and she's hired a hire car, and unfortunately she's clipped a wall. And we're not going to say her name, we're not going to say the car, because you never know. The guys from Alamo Car Rental may be watching. And Well, word of warning, by the way, often, same all over the world, not just in Cyprus, don't get me wrong, it's the same all over the world. If you hire a car of Hertz or Eurocar or Dollar Car or I think it's AMLO, however you say it, the big boys, well, they may offer you a very, very competitive rate for your hire car, but when you read the small print, the little thing called the excess, you'll find that the excess is absolutely through the roof. At the moment in Cyprus, 800, 1,000, 1,200 euros. And I know what you're thinking, so okay, I just catch the front of the bumper. You know, they're not going to charge me 1,000 euros for that. Yes, they are. And they've already blocked it on your plastic friend. And they may even tell you when you're leaving, oh, don't worry, Mr. Jones, don't worry. You'll get your money back and we'll only charge you what it costs. But when you phone up in a month later, and it's not just Cyprus, by the way, wherever you are in the world, you will find that your 1,000 has gone. Because the contract that you signed said if you damage that car and then you acknowledge it when you take it back to the office, in other words, you've signed again, they are allowed to keep your excess. So they're going to keep it. And even if your lawyer is Anna Starr, who's possibly the greatest lawyer in downtown Poland, I'm pretty sure she's going to agree, even though she is not going to be able to get you off. Simple as that. So always read the small print if you're going to hire a car. You're probably going to get a better car off these companies, a more reliable car, a more looked after car. But if you damage it, that's when you're going to find yourself you are a cropper. And this lady on the phone, that's what she said to me. I said, who have you hired it from? And she said, oh, why are you asking that? I said, well, if you've hired it on the local ones, what you've described, you're probably going to get away with it. And she goes, oh, I see. She said, no, I've hired it. I said, ah. And she goes, yeah, I've been done before. So there you go. She accepts she's damaged. That's a nice bungalow, isn't it? Isn't that nice? Yeah, nice bungalow on the left-hand side there. Looks as though they run out of money, but hopefully we'll come back in a year and they'll have finished it. Beautiful area, Pissouri, by the way. Very, very nice area. Very, very popular. And very close to a place called the British Base, which is just up the road called Episcopi Base. And that's not trying to upset people, but it is part of the sovereign UK. That's what it says on the map. So it belongs to the UK, quite simply, the land and everything else. So anyway, not trying to upset anyone. But that's the reason for Pissouri's growth. And an area just down the road called Colossi with expats. A lot of their sons and daughters are at that base, and a lot of them come out to visit them, and slowly but surely they end up buying properties. And it's the same in Crete, it's the same in other countries around the world, and the same with Americans with bases around the world and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, that's politics. Let's shut up about that bit. This is the final descent to Pissouri, and it's a very, very nice village, and great population. About 50% of the people who live in Pissouri are foreign nationals. That was a hell of a bump, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. All four wheels got eaten. Did you feel that, Dizzy Blonde? Did you feel that while you're sitting in a traffic jam in downtown Manchester on the M62? I mean, probably, to be honest, you're not in a rush hour because, what is it? In the UK, it's 10 o'clock, so that's not too bad. Well, I don't know, M62, to be honest, it's a nightmare, isn't it? And they're probably digging half of it. Anyway, here we are, downtown Pissouri. That's the first taverna. There's something going on there. Is it a hair salon or something? I don't know. That's the Papa Antonio supermarket. If you want some benzene on that note, by the way, the channel's funded by a little thing called Buy Me a Coffee. That's a nice old work, isn't it? Nice. Yeah.
Police station.
Yeah, police station. If you want some comparison blue, there's all sorts of things around here. Off license. You've got a nice garden shop that's been there since time began, and a DIY shop. And now we're going up to Uptown Pissouri. So stick with us for a little bit longer, and we're going to take you right to the top of that little mountain up there. And I remember a couple of years back, this mountain literally fell down on the road, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which, if you look carefully, you can see that they cut it back, if that's the right term, to hopefully stopping it falling down on the road again. But I mean, we understand with rains and weathers, come back in another 5 years or so, and that mountain is going to have fallen down on this road again. But of course, if you're the man repairing the road, it's a bit of a pension plan, so hats off to him. Anyway, back to engineers, isn't it? If our father had done it, well, he would have removed the mountain. But there we go, that's another story, isn't it? So if I'd have done it, I wouldn't have cut it back quite as much, because I would have wanted that mountain to fall down next year. There you go. Now, it's a bit of a mishmash here. This is called the panorama on the left-hand side. Government buildings, municipality offices, and a bit of a coffee shop. And it's got quite a nice view, so I've never been there, never stopped there. One of these days I will. This is the road, like I say, all of this bank on the left-hand side fell of it, and I can see it's drying out again. When the rains come next year, this little wall that's very nice, I don't think is going to stop that from falling onto this road. What do you think? No. So there we go. If my father was here, he'd be getting out of the car and going, who was the person that designed that, and who was the person that thought that that was safe? But anyway, there you go. That was the kind of man he was. So I remember once when we lived in Egypt, he got the lead engineers to knock down the same wall about 10 times. I think it was 12 times. And I remember saying to him, or I remember sitting there with another engineer at the house one day, and the engineer said to him, why have you asked these men to knock this wall down over and over? And he said, because they can't build it straight. So if they can't build that wall straight, what chance is there of them building a cotton ginnery, which is obviously a very big factory unit to refine coffee? And there is a point in what he was saying. There you go. So if they can't build, if the best engineers can't get the men to build a wall straight, and it's a simple wall, what chance is there of us building a 4 or 5 story, I don't know, 10,000 square metre ginnery coffee refinery, and then building another one and another one? So there was a bit of a point to it. There you go. And of course, as I've said, the World Bank was paying. So there we go. And that was a project I think was meant to last 5 years. It lasted 15 years. There we go. So a lot of engineers who worked for the World Bank did very well. So perhaps he wasn't such a stupid man as perhaps you think he may have been. There we go. He was actually making sure that he had work for years and years. And I remember his best friend, you remember George Timms? He agreed with everything he said as well. And he liked to drink, didn't he? There we go. Right, where are we? Well, I know where I am, but I can't tell you where I am. I'm following the directions that the lady gave me, and I'm pretty sure that she said down here, swing a left, and then she said swing a right. Anyway, we're looking for a black Peugeot, and I'm going to say thanks for watching. Very, very much appreciate every single view that you give us. Don't forget to come back for a little bit more of my insanity, and now and again the nutter next to me will say goodbye as well.
Goodbye.
There we go. Thanks for watching. This is Uptown Pissouri. If you keep going a little bit to the left, you fall off a mountain, but I promise you, you get a great view of the blue Mediterranean Sea just before you die. Thanks for watching. These roads around here are, well, shut the clouds, aren't they?